Man of Steel is a masterpiece. It's one of the best comic book movies we've had over the past decade, and in my opinion, it is grossly underappreciated. For what reasons? Who knows? But I have a theory. I have a theory here that I'm going to discuss with you today on why Man of Steel is underappreciated. Now, again, you watching this video, if you absolutely hate Man of Steel, you hate DC, and you're Marvel loyal, I'm not trying to change your mind. What I'm going to give you today is factual data, plain and simple. And I believe the release and placement of Man of Steel with the comic book genre is really the main culprit on why majority of mainstream moviegoers looked at it in a bad lens. Now that the Marvel phenomenon is over with, a lot of people on Twitter and social media are rediscovering Man of Steel like, hey, this isn't bad at all. Why did people say it sucked? People are now discovering the greatness of this film. And so without further ado, here are my reasons on why I believe Man of Steel is greatly underappreciated. Reason one, its placement. Man of Steel premiered June 14th, 2013. Let's go back to that era and let's look at what had happened right before that film was released. Marvel had already begun their cinematic universe back in 2008, and they have already installed 7 highly successful, highly critically acclaimed films to the mass audience, including The Avengers, which occurred 1 year prior in 2012. You also have to keep in mind the Nolan trilogy just concluded as well with The Dark Knight Rises a year before. And a lot of fans of that trilogy were upset to hear that Batman within that universe that they have loved is not going to go into the DCU. So that's one strike against Man of Steel already. And let's be honest, prior to Iron Man Part 1, the comic book genre was still in flux. It really hadn't established itself yet. Think about the Fantastic Four movies and Blade and things of that nature. But Man of Steel coming in at 2013, Marvel had installed 7 films already, and the comic book genre had taken over Hollywood. And that takes me to my next reason, brand loyalty. I have a Samsung. You know what it's like going and meeting people and phones just show up. Hey, let's take a photo, and hey, I got a Samsung. You know what kind of reaction I get all the time with Apple users? Yeah. Samsung sucks. Why you not have an iPhone? You're stupid. Samsung stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Why is that? Why is that, you think? Well, let's go back to 2008 when Steve Jobs released the iPhone, right? It was an innovative product. We had never seen anything like that. Everyone was excited and was in love with this innovation because it was brand new. We had not seen it before, wink, wink. So everyone who got an Apple, including myself at one point, we were dedicated to that product because it was the first of its kind. Every year they were releasing hit after hit, the iPhone 2, the iPhone 3, oh my God. You can take photos and videos, blah, blah, blah. So we were incredibly excited about that product and we were devoted to that. When a product comes out and is totally innovative, it creates a fan base. That's what Marvel did, ladies and gentlemen. They knocked it out of the park with 7 films that are universally loved. The comic book genre was brand new and they owned it. They had a monopoly over it. The fans, the audiences were used to a general experience. And we all know what that experience is with Marvel films. You're gonna laugh your butt off. They're gonna reference a lot of pop cultural things. We're gonna laugh our butt off. There's a lot of pop cultural references that we're gonna get. Like, hey, I got that movie they're talking about, Footloose. The kids are gonna like it. Your wife who doesn't know anything about comics is gonna love it because of like Chris Pratt, Robert Downey Jr. Not saying that wives don't like comic, you know what I'm trying to say. But they owned it, rightfully so. Those films are fantastic. I love every single one of them. Then throw Man of Steel in there. Yeah, you starting to feel me now? The DC universe is very different from the Marvel universe. I think a lot of people would agree with me there. And I knew what the film was going to be. I knew Man of Steel was going to be a darker tone of a film, very comparable to the Dark Knight trilogy that we just received, and people loved it. So I was expecting that. I knew what I was walking into, and I remember telling all my friends at that point, don't walk in expecting the Marvel movie. It's going to be a completely different experience. It's going to be a lot darker. Expect Dark Knight type of tone. And how did the critics and audience respond? I'm glad you asked. They hated it. The movie consists of endless declamation, endless violence, It's thoughtfully crafted and occasionally breathtaking. What it isn't, unfortunately, it isn't fun. Cavill broods handsomely as Superman, but this reboot skips on fun and romance. There's very little humor or joy in this Superman story. No fun costume change in the phone booth, or wowing humans with his powers, or repartee with reporter Lois Lane. Man of Steel's destruction does $2 trillion in damage to Metropolis, hypothetical analysis shows. Every opportunity for humor, compassion, or plausible responses to otherworldly phenomena is buried beneath product placement and CGI special effects. Notice how all those reviews said it wasn't fun. But as a Superman fan, I knew this film was going to be different, but many audience goers did not. That is why I believe, ladies and gentlemen, Man of Steel is looked upon in that light. This film does not suck. It is one of the best comic book films ever made. Man of Steel has a texture to it. It's got a tone, it's got a feeling to it, with well written out characters, with clear motivations, and one of the best villains ever. I believe it's a masterpiece. I truthfully do. That is why I made this shirt. If you'd like to purchase one, the link will be in the description below. If you love Man of Steel as much as I do, please get one and support this film. I know DC fandom's coming out, and there's going to be this whole new wave of just comic book excitement, especially with DC now being the main hitter in this genre. Not talking smack against Marvel. Marvel did a phenomenal job, and we really wouldn't be here celebrating DC fandom if it wasn't for Marvel. I applaud the films, I applaud the planning. Everything they've done has been brilliant. Endgame and Infinity War were some of the best experiences I've had at movies in my life, and I'll take them to my grave. But it's DC's turn now, and I want fans to go and support this film, and I want this film to be looked upon differently. If you'd like to buy this shirt, if you please use a promo code and save 10%. Thanks, Zach is a promo code to get 10% off. I have mine on the way. It'll be here soon, and I promise you I'll be wearing it for DC fandom. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, the purpose of this video wasn't to persuade you to change your mind about Man of Steel. I wanted to give you the perspective from a marketing standpoint on why people looked at it the way they did. And I hope I gave you some perspective. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what I do, I truly would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button is what I'm trying to say, and hit the like button. This will let me know that you love what I'm doing, and I'll keep producing videos like this. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Rudy's Movie Reviews, San Antonio's official movie critic. Please take care, God bless, and live long and prosper. And I'm out.